Hi, I'm George Alberto Gonzalez Jr., and today I'm going to be talking about the liver. This is a project for Professor Mario Robles' class in West Coast University, Physiology Lab 2C. So, the liver is a very important organ in our body, and one of its main functions, or some of its main functions, include metabolizing nutrients, storage of them as well. Also, purifying the body from toxins, and we'll go over that a little bit, as well as production of bile. So, it can be when we see the liver. If we were to open the body and look at the where the liver is at, we'd find it at the right side of the body, more specifically on the right lumbar area, and it can be divided. If we were to open up the body and look at it, it can be divided into two lobes, and the thing that would distinguish this one lobe from the other would be the falciform. The falciform, my little puppy Mushu, I'm sorry. The falciform ligament right here. This can be seen, and it divides it into the left and the right. A little bit of extra information, a little bit of information here would be that the round ligament that's found in the liver as well area is a vestment from the umbilical cord. So once the baby's born, the umbilical cord is cut. The round ligament is left. The top part of the diaphragm, the top part of the liver is being held by the coronary ligament, and will be around this area here. Okay. The liver can be divided into what would be four segments, four portions or lobes, and also four segments. But the four lobes would be the right and the left lobe that we had been describing earlier. But the other forms that we were not able to see from viewing it from the top part would be, we have to look at it from the side and a little from the back, and the actual of the liver. It would be these two, the caudate and the quadrate lobes. The quadrate lobe is behind the gallbladder, and the caudate would be by the hepatic vein area. And this is, like you see here, it's the inferior surface of the liver, so wouldn't have been able to see it just from opening and viewing from it there. So the blood supply, the way that the liver receives its blood is by the hepatic artery proper and the hepatic portal vein. Now the blood goes back to the blood system through the hepatic veins, which empties into the inferior vena cava. So what this basically is saying, that all the blood goes to the liver first, and then through the hepatic artery and hepatic portal vein, and after that, after it goes through the liver and gets processed, all the blood gets processed, it then goes to circulate into the body by leaving the liver through the hepatic veins, which empty into the inferior vena cava. Okay, so like I had mentioned earlier, one of the important functions for the liver is for metabolic regulation, and this is basically done by the liver's cells. The liver cells are called hepatocytes, and their function is to regulate circulating levels of carbohydrates, lipids, and amino acids. The hepatic portal system is basically when, after you eat and all the nutrients go into your stomach and start digestion and going into the small intestine, then nutrients and stuff are absorbed from all these areas, the small intestine, large intestine, and the actual stomach as well. From all those veins, the stuff that's actually being pulled in through the blood, it goes into the liver, and then the liver processes all those nutrients and toxins and all that stuff. So all that goes there first, gets processed so that after when it leaves the liver and goes into the body, it doesn't have anything that can damage us or cause harm to us in some way. And so then like I had mentioned earlier, it's blood purification before it enters blood circulation, and some storage of vitamins that happen in the liver would be the fat soluble vitamins. I remember it as IKEA with a D, so we replaced the D with the I with a D, so it's DKEA would be the fat soluble vitamins. So this is what a hepatocyte would look like. They're normally formed into like a little hexagon shape, and they're my favorite cell to look at under a microscope, other than sperm and stuff, because they're really distinguishable, and they're very interesting. Like, you can't miss them. Once you know what it looks like, you can't forget them. It looks like a stop sign, you know what I mean? So they're on each one of the corners of the actual hepatocyte, you get what's called a hepatic triad. Portal triad. Imagine it might be the same. No. So what it is, in order to form a portal triad, you need a portal artery, and a bile duct. So each one of these are on each corners of the hepatocyte. So there's 6. So there'd be a total of 3 in each one of these sides. And in the center, there's a central portal vein. There's a central vein, and this one, interlobular vein, the hepatic vein. So this one goes in, and this one is what actually feeds all the nutrients that it has collected from the actual stomach and all well, never mind. It's opposite. These are the ones that collect all that. Then it goes in the bile. All right. Got excited there. So something interesting about the central vein, this one and stuff, is that it's lined by sinusoidal lining, and inside the sinusoidal lining are the stellated cells, or Kupler cells. And these Kupler cells are basically what do most of the immunological and enzymatical processes of the liver. They have it's like a phagocytic monocyte system, monocyte phagage system, and they store ions and some lipids and heavy metals. But the most important thing about them, basically, like I mentioned, is that they digest. They're for digestion and stuff like that, and to help kill any type of invaders that might be coming, or toxins that we might take when we eat or drink stuff. So the interlobular vein, the interlobular artery, and the interlobular bile duct are what form the portal triad. And I want to correct myself in what I had just said there. It sounded so horrible. It was a phagocytic system of a monocyte and macrophage. So there's macrophages and monocytes in this sinusoidal lining. So the liver has also regulates the blood in our system. So it's hematological regulation. It's the largest blood reservoir in our body. More than 25% of all the blood that circulates in our body stays there for this set amount of time, and it's mainly used for the removal of old and damaged blood cells. And this is once the liver does this, and the spleen does this as well, but what it does is it converts these dead cells or damaged cells into bilirubin. This is important because this forms part of what would be the bile, and forms part of the bile. The bile is used to emulsify fat droplets, fat or lipid, and the bile is actually made up of these different components. It's water, small amounts of ions, bilirubin, and bile salts. The bile salts is what gives our poop its color. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Here's a little bit of examples of what that is. Basically, once we eat and our body has already digested most of our foods, and we have just what are the macro nutrients, we have one of them would be the lipids that are left, and our body, in order to get rid of all that excess that we don't store as triglycerides, triglicéridos, and other stuff, is the fats get emulsified. Basically, what that means is that the bile salts, the bile actually attacks all the fat droplets by just invading it, covering it, or like dogpiling it. Just a bunch of these biles goes on top of it, and then it makes it easier for the bile to be able to for us to be able to digest, or lipase, for the enzyme lipase to be able to digest the lipids. So once it's been digested by the lipase and emulsified, once it's been emulsified by the bile, lipase comes in and helps us finish digesting the fats and stuff, and along with all the others, along with a bunch of other nutrients and stuff, it goes into our poop, and so that we can excrete it, or just get rid of it from our body. And depending on the color of the poop, different types of it helps doctors and nurses be able to figure out, hey, this is wrong with this person. If it has too much, for example, I think this is one would be very important when it has too much fats, because it goes with all this that we're talking. And I would imagine it would be this or this. Oh no, well, yellow is for when it's causing an infection, when there's an infection. Red can indicate bleeding. Green is vegetables, spinach, or just too much chlorophyll, I imagine, foods and stuff. Bilirubin. Blue can indicate illness in babies, or can be the result of eating foods that contain blue dyes. Hyperactivity. And then white, often caused by lack of bile. So, mention. And then black may be caused by bleeding in the upper digestive tract. So these are different colors, and stuff, and just helps us. It's just an example of stuff about the liver and stuff. So right here, I guess, as well, I'm taking advantage of this. I used our Human Anatomy book as one of the references. It's 9th edition by Martini, Talish, and Nass, published by Pearson Publishers, and also our Human Physiology book, An Integrated Approach, 8th edition by D. Unglob Sliththorn, and also published by Pearson in 8th edition. I think I said that already. So, all right. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Stay safe.